Oh, there you are. Hey everyone, it's Purple Haze. What's up? Y'all know it has been a heck of a last 3 weeks here for me. I've been really busy, but I've been keeping, great company with y'all when you come to the stream, when you come to my gameplay, when I see y'all in chat. So I have to just say thank you so much. And as always, Robolica, thank you so much for the Lamote. He stays right here, or I guess it's a they. I don't think Lamotes have a gender, but it stays right there with me at all times. And I want to give a special, special shout out to everyone. Xbox International Podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much coming in all the way from the Dominican Republic. So thank you so much for coming by. Most likely we might be seeing you pretty soon on a Shades of Purple. So thank you, Obi Rose, another person who might be having a Shades of Purple here pretty soon. Thank you again for coming by. Rudigs, awesome to see you again, Shades of Purple alum. Cammy, you need to come on the show here pretty soon. But if y'all have not catch Cammy's show, her streams, please catch it. It's amazing. She does great content. And it's a New Yorker. She just does an amazing job. So thank you so much, Cammy. For everything. I need to catch your show. I've been busy. I'm so sorry. But I need to catch it with Skylining you. And who else do we have? Ambi, thank you. And Simpleton, thank you again. And Rouster, Crow Resin. How could I forget you all? I need to add you, Rouster, to one of my gaming contacts list. And Sanchez, what's up? Oh my gosh, OG Sanchez. Thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you all for coming by. Well, as y'all know, I finished Five Nights at Freddy's on Sunday. So we're going to be starting. Which one are we going to be starting? No, Martha is dead. It looks pretty creepy. So that's what we're going to be playing. So if you want to be kind of creeped out, that's what I'll be doing. And then on top of that, what I also wanted to say is next week's Shades of Purple, we're going to have someone who's actually from outside the gaming community, but not really. And that one's going to probably be an hour earlier. Still have to verify the time, but it's going to be a great, great show. It's going to be one of those informative ones that where you're like, whoa, I didn't know that. So definitely please come to that. But we have next week to talk about next week. And we have, shades of our play with purple to talk about purple. But today's show is about that person in the description, an amazing content creator. And y'all, I did not know how big of a content creator this person was when I first interacted with them, but I soon found out. And you all will also get to find out pretty soon. So without further ado, I want to bring on the one, the only, Jeff Gignac. Uh-oh. Jeff. Oh my God, Jeff, what is this? What are you doing? Okay, I was not expecting. I thought that was an error message on your thing. So I see you're doing the lo-fi monk look, with glasses looking like squids. I love it. The actual king of content, and we're gonna get into that here pretty soon, Jeff. How are you today?
What are we canceling today?
What are we
canceling? Come on the show when we cancel something. So what are we canceling?
We're canceling. Jeff, I want to
see. We're canceling PUBG.
This is happening, y'all. So if y'all remember, Jeff was so gracious about 3 weeks ago. Stadia closed down. Really sad day. It was Jeff's birthday, and he was so
Fourth
willing to
worst
give
birthday ever.
worst birthday ever.
Fourth.
So then
There were 3 prior worse ones.
oh, so the fourth worst one for you. So that's not too good. And then, he does this show today, and what do they say? PUBG is not going to be, can't transfer player data from PUBG on for Stadia players. So, I know you played that a lot. Shout out to Cloudy V, Suave, all those people who put so many hours into the Stadia version of PUBG. SPG, Ray, I know y'all are frustrated, and so I feel for you all. It's nothing better. I can't say anything other than that. But I blame Jeff. So you know,
I'll take the blame. It's all good.
But Jeff, how do you describe yourself? Because you're like, we're gonna get a little bit more into your content creation because it is actually
I don't describe myself.
quite unique. But how would you describe yourself?
I'm a troll.
You're a troll.
Oh wait, that's what people call me. What are you, purple? That'll work. Okay, that'll work. Sorry, had to change the other lights.
Oh God, I love the purple. I love
Had to
it.
change the other lights to purple. That one is a black light, so it doesn't actually change.
Yeah, and Crow Resin said put the mask back on. And I see you, Cherry Man. What's up? How are you?
Crow Resin, a future Shades of Purple guest.
I would love to have Crow on.
I know. He'll do a face reveal that day. Breaking news. Crow Resin, a future guest, and doing a face reveal.
We have a couple of those who need to do that.
I forgot to tell him that part, but
Crow's great.
He's on a need-to-know kind of basis, and he didn't need to know any
He didn't need to know that one.
He did not.
Oh my gosh.
He did not.
So Jeff, so people call you a troll. Why do they call you a troll?
I don't know. It hurts. It makes me it makes me cry. Because people say stuff and then I ask them about it and then they call me a troll because I asked them about something they have said. So don't tell me things, otherwise I'll bring it up. And they're like, you're a troll. All right. No, I'm not trolling. I'm just asking questions. You put something out there, I'm gonna call you on it, ask you about it.
Something tells me there's how does Dark do? There's levels to this, or layers, or onions. I don't know. There's it's a deep story. No. So you are a if you're not self-proclaimed troll, you're an other proclaimed troll.
I'm another proclaimed troll.
People consider
now
you a troll.
and people who know me and have been on chats with me will tell you that I don't just troll online. I troll in real life too. So let me fix the microphone there. So I will if I see stuff out in the public, I troll people too. Remember, I'm old, so if you get on my lawn, I'm going to yell at you.
Oh, I never thought of that. So the old person with the lawn, that's a troll. Well, define trolling.
Your clouds. That was me until recently. No, I'm old man yelling at my PC.
Ooh. So Jeff, you're like an old school gamer, right? Like you.
I'm an old man. You can call me an old man.
No, not an old man.
Not an old man. If I was wearing underwear, it'd be older than all of you in the chat. So just saying.
But you do have a special like attire on today, don't you?
Of course not.
You don't? Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that.
Again, we can talk about this. And one day I will have a branding person come on and talk about branding. But you will probably never see me online without the shirt on. If it's not this shirt, then it's one that has my name and it's got the retro rewind. I know we're going to talk about that later. I also have a different version with a bit of a smaller name because I was out of town and forgot the shirt. So I had to go get one made so I could still do my show.
Wow. Well, we're going to get into...
if you have a brand and you are not always promoting them, because at every show people always say, how do you get a hold of you? But it's right here. It's always here. So if you have a brand and you are not always promoting that brand,
you're not doing.
So then what are you doing?
So see, Jeff, and this is the thing. I think in Crow, I did not.
And if that's a troll,
if
you want to call me a troll for saying that, then okay. But if you've got a brand, you should be promoting it.
100% of the time. So I should
100%,
have like
100, you should have a yeah. You
I
got the
should.
little bit of purple happening behind you, and that's okay. But
I got
just
my
saying.
earrings are purple today.
Oh, there you go.
I did that. I
Old
did
and
that.
blind.
It was a last minute move. What's up, Mostly Martinez? Um, Jeff is wearing underwear. Actually, I think Jeff is wearing underwear.
We're in the middle of a pandemic. Who wears underwear?
That's a quote. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Who wears underwear? I don't have a comeback for this. I never thought of that like that. I thought we're in the middle of a pandemic, like who goes outside, but who wears underwear during a pandemic is facts, I guess. Facts. What's up, Justin? And what's up, Holtz? Thanks for staying up with us. So we're just learning about Jeff. We're learning about the ultimate content creator. We're learning about the ultimate branding person. Oh my gosh, here he is coming like with full. Look at this. He brought in the skeleton one. Is this a onesie, Jeff?
Why do you ask stupid questions? Earlier, you're just gonna ask dumb questions the whole evening.
He is actually wearing.
See. And see the kneecaps have little smiley faces. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh my gosh, he's actually wearing a skeleton onesie. Yo, what's up, Sean L?
You didn't want me to wear this one because you did not want me to wear that one. You have that one. I gave you a choice.
You did give me a choice. I thought the skeleton
and then the other one is just
This y'all, Jeff
saying.
is he's
Just
an
saying.
actual entertainer. He's an entertainer.
I'm a troll.
Well, you're a troll. You just own it.
See, maybe you can see. Can you see that?
I can't see the smiley faces.
It's got a little smiley face on the kneecaps.
That's why you got it, y'all.
It's got a.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Jeff is like, he's got it. Well, we're going to see a little bit more of Jeff here in a second. Well, not that more of Jeff.
No. You got it. That's the after show on my OnlyFans. So only $6.99 a month. Special Purple Haze discount, $6.99 a month. You guys all missed the summer special where it was $4.99 a month or 3 months for $15. You missed that one.
So we have to settle for the. Oh, and you got it. You're just too much, Jeff. So we're gonna get more into your other content here in a second. Not that content, but some of your other content here in a second.
Rose, all coming, baby. It's all coming. OnlyFans sneak preview. Wait, and you haven't even seen my Christmas stuff. Well, actually, if you guys follow me on the TikTok, then you would have seen all. These are actually, these are new. These didn't actually. I got these after I recorded the TikTok video.
Oh my gosh! Do not use. I do not use shades of purple haze. Oh my gosh!
I'm gonna love Crow because he's always in my streams. He's fact checking the shit that I say because most of it's wrong half the time. So he's got to go out and fact check me, and he also rates the stream. So there's he's in there with the code. Gotta
Thank you.
Dropping the code for the discount on the OnlyFans.
Oh my gosh, I love this. We're getting your personality, Jeff. And for the people who actually haven't seen your streams or seen you around, I love it because we're getting like who Jeff is. But as you know, Jeff, this is a gaming channel and you have a heck of a gaming journey, don't you? Well, what about those Cowboys, Jeff? I forgot. Did they win this weekend? I didn't catch the score.
They did not, but that's okay. For all those clowns that were filling my DMs full of QB1 talk of Cooper Rush, kept telling you he's not.
Oh my gosh,
okay.
what
Dak
is
back, and we are on our way.
What's up, Geek? What's up, Windstar? What's up, Suave? The Climax.
The man Suave. Because when you're married with children, you're not a boy anymore. I need to tell you.
Yeah.
Again, I make a comment like that. People go, "You're just troll. You're just a troll." But I speak the truth.
Yeah, well, in Suave, I don't know if he said it publicly, but if y'all should be congratulating Suave. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know if he's made it public, but it's Suave. If you want to put it in the chat, go ahead.
About the new baby?
Well, did he say? Let him say it, Jeff. If he wants to put it in chat. Let him.
And,
That's
and he
his
shouldn't
news.
have told me.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
his fault for letting me find out.
I mean, but yeah, Suave, if you want to put it in there and so we can all congratulate you together, uh, we would love to do that. But with
Okay,
that
what do you
said,
want to know? What do you want to know? What was your question?
I want to know where your gaming journey started.
For those of you who watched Retro Rewind, not this last episode, the one before that. I was at my parents' house. We were clearing out my parents' house. Hopefully, my mother's not watching. Ray, you already missed my talk of my OnlyFans, dude. Scroll down. There's a discount code that you can use for.
Welcome,
actually,
Ray.
no, Ray. Actually, Ray's already a subscriber and huge tipper. So big shout out to Ray. Big fan, big supporter of my OnlyFans. So, anyways, the new people. That discount code only applies to new people. Ray, sorry. So if you watched Retro Rewind a few weeks ago, we were actually at my parents' house on the Sunday clearing it out, and we crawled up into I crawled up into the attic upstairs to pull out a bunch of crap that my brother had shoved up there, and I was hoping there'd be old technology.
And
sorry, Suave. So in there was a bunch of just all my brother's crap because he's a hoarder. And I pointed some stuff out, but I pointed him out because it started in, I want to say 75, 76. That would be 1875. Because he's much older than me, and he used to go when he was in high school down to the local university to do work on their mainframes. And of course, I was 5 years old, and he used to have to babysit me, and so he would drag me with him. And so there were games on the computer, and I would play those text-based and little weird games on the computer. So these were mainframes computers, and if you guys pull out your history books and you learn about how computers worked in the 70s, they were not in those physical locations. They were big, huge, room-sized devices, but they weren't in those facilities. Everybody had terminals and would connect. So I've been cloud gaming since the 70s. Because if your definition of the cloud is that it's on a server somewhere, because it is, right? Stadia, it's in their server data center. GFN, you're just remoting into and playing it on. It's not on your machine. It's on, right? So I've been doing that since the 70s.
Well, there you go. Jeff was first at it, and he's not trolling right now. It's all true. So your first memories were cloud gaming with these huge.
Well, I was just sitting at a little terminal because, again, McMaster, they didn't have those big computers. They were all just dialed in. It was all ARPANET. It was all government based at that point. And we would, he'd sit me down at a terminal, and there'd be little dots on the screen, and I would be playing them.
Playing the dots.
And he used to have little punch cards, and so I'd have to write the things on the little punch cards for him, and do things like that. So that was it.
Wow. So you weren't really. Did you ever get into console? Well, you had to have gotten in console because I do want to get into your story about EA, but not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
But not yet.
That was the 70s.
That was the 70s.
And then I'm using this one. I'm using this one tonight. The other mic's over there, and I'm sitting in the podcast corner. But I didn't get a chance to hook this one up. There's mic right here. So I'm just using this. Mic, not my streaming mic, because I'm sitting in the podcast corner. Because doesn't everybody have a podcast corner in their gaming room?
I know,
I know you have a whole podcast room.
I do. So
what was the question? Where are we?
So yeah, all right.
Oh yeah. So then we roll into the 80s. I think we had a Trash 80. That's a TRS 80 for those Radio Shack aficionados. Had a Timex Sinclair 1000. Had a Commodore PET. Had a VIC 20. Had a Commodore 64. and then I would use all of those to connect to bulletin boards. Again, I didn't have the bulletin board. I did host some in the early '90s, but we won't talk about that. I would connect to those bulletin boards, and I would play games that way. A lot of text-based games and other things. Again, cloud gaming in the '80s.
Wow. So you're like way ahead of your time, Jeff. Like most time people come on here and they talk about like Atari, and then sometimes they'll bring in Nintendo, sometimes Game Boy, but you're like bringing in like like all the systems that created the gaming crisis of 1983. All of those systems, those are the ones you're talking about right now.
I'm listening.
Oh yeah. Oh y'all. He's about to do something crazy. He's about to do something crazy.
I haven't made a video of this yet. And I showed it on my stream once. What year, Crow, did we say this was? I have to go to my fact checker.
2022.
I have to go to my fact checker. What did you say?
My internet. Oh, no worries, Xbox International. We're just here talking about Jeff's gaming story. He's talking to us about gaming systems from Radio Shack. And
that's October. I'm going to say October 5th, 1982.
Oh my gosh, he brought up.
Just never. You're supposed to bring props. I heard you could bring props to your show.
You could bring props, Jeff.
Some killer person said you have to bring props to your show.
Ash is like, what is this? This is a manual for.
No, it's not. It's an ad.
It's an ad.
It's an ad.
This looks like an ad.
People who were on my show a few weeks ago would have seen that.
The San Francisco Gold Rush. Oh my gosh! Look at this.
See what that says?
House of Computers.
No, that part, Rick. That part.
The number?
No. That.
Commodore 64.
Correct. October. So this month, 1982. So 80, 92, 2002, 40 years ago this month, this ad was in the paper for a Commodore 64. I also have the price list. So if the people on my who saw that on my stream a few weeks ago, no comments in the chat, but anyone else who doesn't know, how much do you think 40 years ago a Commodore 64 was going for?
Ooh, let's see. So 40 years ago, a Commodore 64.
Anybody know how to build one of these? I got one of these. Anybody know how to build one of these?
My gosh, I can't believe. I wonder if you could sell this stuff on eBay.
Anyways.
I'm gonna go with a Commodore 64. I never played Commodore, so this one actually predates me. Not the year that it came out, but I never played on it.
Crow knows. Crow knows the answer because he was on the stream. It was on my retro stream. What, about a month ago? Yeah, probably about a month ago.
$200, $299. I want to say $600. How much is it?
Anyone guesses?
Okay, I'm with Ray. $199.
200, $595 by the International Podcast. Cool. Don't know who that is.
Oh,
I'm also not an Xbox person, so sorry.
But he's a gamer as well from the Dominican Republic.
So far, he's the closest.
I said 600.
Oh, you said 200.
I said 600.
Oh, well, you're okay. Well, you guys are the closest, but you've not gone over.
700. Cherryman has 700. 895. Is that Canadian?
Yes.
Okay, so that's like 600. It's like $10. It's like $10 US.
There's the entire price list.
Oh my gosh. $895. And now people complain about $70 games. I know.
Anyone who follows me, you got to come with props. Because, if you don't come with props, I didn't see Paul. Where's Bayram? I didn't see him here with props.
Paul did have props.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, Paul had a bunch of props. He had the genie lamp. He had like several bottles of whiskey going on. Paul had a lot of props.
I didn't watch it. I had it on one of the TVs, but there was football on.
Oh my gosh.
There's the complete price list.
My gosh, there you go, $895. Wow. And so you bought a Commodore 64 in 1982 for $900 roughly.
Roughly.
Do you still
40
have
years.
it?
40 years. I wish. I don't know. My mother got when we all moved out. Because I was the last one to move out, and I moved out in '89. She just started getting rid of shit.
She got rid of it. And the cool thing about it, Jeff, is you can. So if y'all did not know, Jeff, your parents just celebrated their birthdays, correct, or anniversary?
Yeah. Well, both.
Both birthdays and anniversary.
Because sure, both.
Both over 90, correct? Both 90 something.
15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
I don't know what type of math this is.
62 years.
They've been married 62 years?
1955. Is that 62, Crow? Somebody do the math.
67. 67 years.
Okay, whatever. Somebody do the math. Crow, somebody get out a calculator.
You said 1955?
I gotta use my bare feet.
Oh my gosh, Jeff. So did you say 1955?
I did.
I can't even imagine what that feels like.
Yes,
I don't even know what that's.
She just turned 90, and well, good. I picked the Saints to win, and they're winning 7-0. 90 and 95, and
Wow.
you guys have all. When I used to do that show with the awesome Ryzak and some other guy who I forget who it was, they were on the show. That was on the show a couple of times. So go back and find that episode. It was pretty awesome. It was adequate, just adequate.
So, going back to your story though, Jeff. So after you left in 1989.
At 89, I moved away to college. It was the era of the XP. It was the era of the XP, and yeah, it was all. So yeah, we had the VAX mainframes. That's where I first learned to do COBOL programming. Was on those mainframes, and again playing computer games with the internet people. It wasn't called the internet then. Maybe it was. We used to use these computers. Crow says 67. Thank you, Crow. I don't know what I would do without Crow. I swear to God. And these were on the VAX mainframes, and my brother used one at his work. He used to work for an arm of the government. And so I went to school about 10 minutes from where he worked. And so on Friday nights, they would be, doing something after work, as work people do, right? You work in an office. But this is before COVID. And,
Well, we used to wear underwear because we don't wear underwear anymore because we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Exactly. You would go out after work or something, right? So I would be chatting with him, but it was real-time chat because those systems had a way to communicate in real time with other VAX users.
Wow.
And so, again, I'm in computers because I've been a tech guy all my life. And so I would, I'd be making plans because they'd be going to the pool place or they'd be going to the bar. And he says, if you guys, and I knew a lot of the guys because I did some over in the summer. I would work there a little bit in the summer. And so I knew a bunch of the guys, and we'd all, go shoot pool or go have a beer, or maybe I had like a few hours off, and they'd be going to the Pizza Hut for the back in the day when Pizza Hut used to have the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. We used to go for there, so I would go over there and meet up with them at lunch. And again, just all using real-time chat. And this is before all the other,
all the things. This is before it was a thing. And we want to welcome Mr. Byron Place. Thank you Paul, for staying up. We were just talking about your props that you brought onto your episode, Paul, and how cool they were. So thank you again, Paul, for coming by. So you're Jeff.
So then I did that, and then it was I finished school. I graduated. I started working in 1992 full time. And then I started buying
Smezes.
Ataris, and NESs and other gaming systems, which I don't have anymore, which is upsetting to me, and I don't know why I don't have them anymore. But yeah. So and then it just started doing that, and still doing bulletin boards. I meant to look for it on the weekend, but I forgot. I found years ago an invoice that I paid for internet in, I guess it was the early 90s, because it was probably in my shitty bug-filled Roach. I used to live on Roach Court, or I used to live next to Roach Court, which is an appropriate name considering the guest that was often in my apartment. But I was poor. I spent all my money on gaming. And where was I going?
You were talking.
Oh, right.
He just goes.
I paid for the premium account, which gave me, I think, 3 or 4 hours of internet. Standard was, I think, 1. And it gave me like 3 or 4 hours of internet a day.
Wow. Jeff, they're saying you need to start collecting. I don't think Xbox International. Jeff is a collector of many things. He's got to show us his game room.
So I paid extra. And then it was all dial up. So I had I don't know how long this cable was, 1,000 feet, 500 feet. Crow, how long could RJ11s be back in the day? Someone look that up. So I had this really long RJ11 that I had plugged in, and I had it plugged in. What?
What's an RJ11? Oh. You're using acronyms. Jeff, you're not talking like what we normally hear. We normally hear about like Nintendos and Segas and Super Nintendo, and sometimes somebody will throw in some other Neo Geo type of thing. But you're using like technical stuff. You're using dots. You're using technology. OnlyFans, what's up, Ron Slusher? How are you?
Oh, Ron came here from my OnlyFans. I love it. So you got your, you've got your RJ45, and then you have your RJ11.
It's a telephone jack. Oh, thank you. Okay. And that's what you connect. So
you used to have a little modem in your computer, and
I remember that. I remember it would make the sound.
You would plug that in, and so I had this really long. See, I have these at the ready. I have just cables at the ready. Remember,
who does that? Like who does that?
1970s, Jeff. Beautiful. No, how long? I think I had 100 foot. I want to say it was 100 feet. It's around here somewhere.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
anyways, I would have it plugged in because I didn't want to disconnect if I'm sitting in the living room, on the IRC, or I'm on the or I'm using the ICQ, or even the powwow. You guys used the powwow back in the day? Powwow users, raise a hand. Raise a hand if you're a powwow. Jeff is a hoarder. I'm that close, Ray. There's a fine line between a hoarder and a collector, and I'm on this side at the moment.
Wow.
Who used the powwow back in the day? Hands up, show of hands. Powwow users.
I know.
ICQ. I'm not even going to ask about MSN. You guys all had the MSN. ICQ. 133379 used to be my number. How many people still had the GeoCities page?
I know what a GeoCities page is.
100 meters. There you go. Okay, I must have had a 100-meter one then. Thanks, Crow. Gotta love Crow. What did I do without my Crow? He's fact checking me all the way through because I'm
confused. A POW what? Yeah, exactly. I know it is a Native American.
There used to be a chat. I believe, did it have video? Why do I want to think it had video? Maybe it didn't have video. There used to be a chat. It was called Powwow. I haven't had any maple syrup. Where's my Harvey's? I'm having Harvey's. Shout out to Harvey's.
Jeff is from Canada, y'all.
Can you throw up the non-sponsored link?
We'll get it there. We'll get it there when we post it.
Can you do that in post? Can you add that in post? Thank you. So yeah, there used to be an old chat system called Powwow. Was it Powwow something? Yeah, I used that. Had the ICQ. You remember you sent a convention? You go, oh. Remember that? Remember back in the day, the ICQ? Get on the Wikipedia, guys. You can find all this on the Wikipedia. I'm not making this shit up. 1333379 was my original number, and then someone stole it off me. I had to get some larger number, which really pissed me off. But 1333379 used to be my ICQ number. Did a lot of the IRC. Do you guys use the IRC? The MIR. I didn't like the MIRC client. I know that was the standard, but I used some of the other IRC clients.
Hey, John, what is going on?
IRC.
Yes, Josh. We were learning about Jeff's gaming journey.
Yes, the UC Me had video. I want to say Powwow did too, but for some reason. But the Alzheimer in me. Is that 7-3, Ray? All right. Yeah.
My gosh. Okay, Jeff. So
I didn't like the MIRC. Powwow was the first internet messaging program for Windows. It was made by a company, Tribal Voice. There you go. Got to get yourself a Crow. You got to get yourself a Crow resin for these, because when everyone used Yahoo Messenger, and MSN Messenger, and AOL.
AIM.
AIM. Yeah,
that's what it was. What's up, Legend? How are you? Welcome to the chat. We're just
got to get yourself a fact tracker. Like
Jeff is just telling us all about all about the history of gaming right now. And so, using all sorts of acronyms that I think I may have heard like 30 something years ago. I have not heard them since. So thank you, Jeff, so much.
So what was I going to say? So if there is a piece of technology, I have used it. And if there is and again, you're going to call me a troll, but if there's a piece of, by the time you've heard about it, I've used it, figured it out, decided if I didn't like it, and either keep using it or unused it.
Wow.
You guys haven't heard of Be Real yet, but you will.
Be Real.
Exactly. And then then one day you're going to be like, oh, this is awesome. And and so
that's the picture one, right?
It is.
I know what Be Real is. A lot of people do Be Real.
I know they do.
Wow.
But 90, probably most of the people in chat never heard of it.
Be Real? Chat, y'all have heard of Be Real, haven't you?
Where's David Wilson? David Wilson? She still hasn't added me yet. Just saying.
David Wilson.
45 is getting Georgia to add me on Be Real, and she has not.
Obi Rose. I would imagine Obi Rose knows Be Real. So this takes us up, Jeff. Obviously, so you were kind of a gamer who was into all these.
I was the nerd. I was the nerd in high school. In elementary school, I wrote a database program to track the library books. So in elementary school, you would take a book out, they would type it into the computer system, and then it knew the due dates. And then we would run reports, and it would be done for each teacher. And then the teacher would get and say, little Miss Purple. I know her real name, folks, but I'm not going to say it. Little Miss Purple, you still have Why Is My Body Changing overdue. And, and of course all the kids hated me because.
Well, Jeff,
And then in high school, we had the computers with the QNX operating system. Shout out, hands up, who's used the QNX operating system? If you have stuff in your car, you have like computerized car stuff run by the QNX operating system, made out of Waterloo. Shout out to Waterloo, Ontario. But it's a Linux-based clone. If you don't know, Crow can throw in something from Wikipedia on that.
My gosh.
So I would do a bunch of gaming and a bunch of programming in there. And then the other half of that room was also the chess club. So we'd also play chess at lunch. I did sports. So I straddled the nerd sports line, which is why in my school, none of the nerds got beat up because I protected them because all the jocks wouldn't beat them up. This is the 80s, folks. In the 80s, you could beat kids up. Toilet, getting flushed. Nowadays, you can't do that. All these sissies and pansies. And
Jeff, you can't say it's a family-friendly stream, Jeff. You can't say that. Family-friendly stream, Jeff. So, Jeff, I think this is a good time to kind of to ask you, because obviously you're protecting the nerds. You're doing amazing stuff. You're like this all-around person.
And trolling too. Don't worry.
In trolling, which you take pride in, which most trolls do. And then all of a sudden, there's a point that you decide to go become a star. And before you talk about that, I want to give everybody kind of a hint of what type of star you were. So y'all just sit back,
You got
relax.
I didn't authorize the release of the clips.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy some history. All right, here we go, y'all.
I didn't authorize this. Back it up 2 or 3 feet, stop, get organized, and then we're going to give a run for it. Get
Jeff, tell us about this. So, like, a lot of people who may have only seen you in chat don't really know you that well. You're actually a reality TV star.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about what we just watched. Tell us about the show. Tell us, like, how did you get involved in this? Like, tell us, like, I mean, you're not just Jeff Gignac, troll, acronym knower of games.
I trolled on the national level.
You trolled?
I was trolling all of Canada on a national level.
You trolled all of Canada on the national level. Okay.
So it is 2005. And my buddy lived across the street. We were watching this show. And he goes, "My God, dude, you're worse than all of them." Just so you know, I am a tool. I don't use them. And so then they said, I bring in my 90s hairstyle back, right? Look at that. This is more the 80s. It's more my 80s mullet. So they, the Discovery Channel had said, you guys know Bad Handyman? Send in a thing. So my neighbor and his wife typed up a little something and sent it in. Then I got a call and they said, "We got this thing. Is this for real? What they wrote?" And I went, "Yeah." They're like, "Well, we want to come and film some shit." And I went, "All right." So they came out and they filmed an audition. I'll use rock and roll quotes. Do you guys use the rock and roll quotes?
Yeah.
Yeah, rock and roll quotes. Rock and roll air quotes. They filmed this audition video, and my buddy was in it. Little kids, they were little then. And then we never thought anything of it. And then they called him and said, "We want Jeff on the show." And my friend said, "No, I'm not going to do it." So then they called me and they said, "We want you on the show, but your friend won't do it." And I said, "All right." And then they called back and they said, "Did you talk to him?" I went, "No, thought it was over." And so I went and talked to him, and he reluctantly agreed on one condition, that he would be there, he would do what he had to do, but he did not want to he wanted to be more on the cutting room floor than in actual on the air. And they agreed to do that. And there are a few bits and pieces of him and a few interviews, but for the most part, he's there, but not really. He doesn't get interviewed a little bit, but not as much as the others. And that was part of his deal. Now, they put us up in a hotel for 16 days, which he absolutely loved, because, he didn't have a wife or children or dogs jumping in his bed every day and night. So he enjoyed the peaceful sleep and the per diem that they gave us to go drinking every night.
So tell us about the show, though. So a lot of people don't know that you actually that was a nationally televised reality TV show that Jeff is on. So if you go look up Jeff Gignac, not only will you get the YouTube, not only will you get the OnlyFans, but you will actually get the contestant Jeff Gignac on Canada's Worst Handyman, which was a show to try to figure out, like the name implies,
30 million people in Canada, and I was in the bottom 5.
Bottom 5 handy people in
30 million in Canada, 35 million in Canada now. But
one of the worst handy people. And so you went on the show, and
I had a great time.
And so what, like when you were on the show, were you like a lot of people like for reality TV shows, like is it truly reality?
No, it's all fake. It's all
It's all
fake.
fake. It's all fake. Like
They portrayed me as the arrogant asshole, which not me. That was a character they edited in. So that was they decided that that was going to be my character.
So they told you that. They told you ahead of
No,
time.
no. That's the way they edited it. After that, they did all the filming. They decided I was going to be the arrogant asshole one.
So they said, so they just you all are competing, and then they just take snippets of it, and they portray your persona. But like your actual that.
So here's a little. You know, if you guys think reality TV is real, if you actually watch the episodes close enough, there are, because I basically wore the same clothes the whole 16 days we filmed. We filmed for 8, off a week, filmed for 8. So I basically wore the same work clothes as tradespeople do, right? You know,
Right.
if you're a painter, you wear the same, right? And so if you watch some of the early episodes, if you actually pay attention to what I'm wearing, you can see in early episodes, they're dirtier than sometimes some scenes when they're doing interviews and other things from later episodes. Like you can see that, like sometimes that you can tell the clothes are dirtier because on, you know, by the end of the, you know, the days you would be dirtier. But the way they cut some of the stuff in, they took footage from day 14 and edited into day 2, right? So there's things like that. So it's all editing. And the first night of shooting, I figured out the game, and I went back and I was with my buddy.
What do you mean you figured out the game?
I'll get there. So I went back and I said, okay, here's their game. So I explained it to him. I said, so we're going to play their game. So everything they told you is fact. If you watch all the episodes, everything they tell you is factually correct. Like they will say, we taught them how to do electrical, which is true, but it's not as long as they made it out to be. Or if they said Jeff was studying something for an amount of time, well, I really wasn't. But with editing, you can make anything, right? You're an editor. You've edited, right? So there are some things. They have a lot of creative license. So, and I figured out the game. I figured out the shooting game, the very first thing. So I played their game, unbeknownst to everybody, unbeknownst to everybody else.
So you play. Hey, Severin, how are you? Coming in from Atlanta. We're just learning about Jeff Gignac and his journey as Canada's worst handyman, as he was a reality TV star, or is a reality TV star in Canada. We just saw a clip of that. So Jeff, so what would you? So you your neighbor signs you up for this show. You go on the show. You then like you're there, and you figure out like, okay, here is the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now a game like what do you win? Or is it just like, hey, we just want to show?
It's actually Canadian television, and it's actually a documentary. So there was actually no prize, although we made a prize. We made a little worst handyman logo board thing. When I say I played their game, like so, you know, they would tell us what we're going to do in the upcoming whatever it is we're going to do. And so then I would turn to everybody, okay, guys, ready? Let's make some good television. And the director would get all upset because it's supposed to be, you know, you're just supposed to do it, not try to make good television. If you try to make good television, you make bad television. But I make awesome television. There is one, there was the old lady, Ruth. I think that was her name. And we didn't get along. I didn't get along with any of them. Anyways, and we were gonna have this who could hammer better, faster, whatever. And so we said to the producer, "Can you get us these tools so we can do this?" And they're like, "Why? What? No." And then we told them what they wanted to do, and they were like, "Oh hell yeah, we're gonna do that, and we're gonna film it." So there's a scene where I take her on in a hammering competition. So I had my BlackBerry, and they never left you alone. There was, you're either in the green room Now, I also was working through this entire
Wow.
process. I was also working, so it would take 4 or 5 hours to set up a shot, like the next bit. So we'd be in the green room for 4 or 5 hours. I would sit off in the corner and I would make phone calls. I would do work. I would do whatever I had to do. And I had my little BlackBerry at the time. And
aren't you so proud of Research in Motion?
correct. Shout out to BlackBerry. And they made a fatal mistake where they left me alone. At one point, there was me, my buddy Fred, and the producer. And then she said, okay, she got on the radio and she goes, Fred, you come with me. They left me alone. So unbeknownst to anybody, I used the Napster at the time, and I downloaded Eye of the Tiger.
That's a good song.
It was. And I had it on my phone in my pocket.
Okay.
Unbeknownst to anybody. So then she comes and gets me. She brings me down and she goes, this is what's going to happen. You're going to walk in and blah, 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 blah. She then departs and I'm standing there by myself. And then, she goes, okay, we're rolling, count to 5 and do your thing. She steps away. I then push play on Eye of the Tiger as I come bursting into the room. And I could hear the director scream cut. He came over. He came flying out of the little cubicle cubby thing that he sits in and has all the cameras and watching. And he started screaming at me. Because they would then have to, if they had left it in, they would then have to try to license the song. They would then have to pay large sums of money to license the song. If they couldn't license the song, then that whole thing would have to get... Oh, he was so angry at me.
So you trolled. So you're on this reality show.
So we had to stop. We had to redo it.
And to the
and
Canadians,
the producer got in trouble because they're like, "Did you not?" And they're like, "No." She goes, "I left him alone because I had to bring Fred. They left me alone, and that was it. I got myself into trouble." And
it seems like a... So I want to ask, because we have a few Canadians in chat. Severin's a Canadian. Bleep Flo Fla is a Canadian. Rudix is a Canadian. Did y'all ever watch this show? And I guess Severin would say they don't watch Canadian TV shows, which is not true. I've watched many House Hunters International that takes place in Canada. So you have that. Let's go Leafs. Hi, Maple Leafs. I think that's what you're talking about, Rudigs. But no, not really.
I got the Leaf game on TV3.
He has a lot of TVs on. So, Jeff, why did you troll the show? Why did you not try to win?
I was trying to win. I was winning until the final day. The final day of shooting. I was winning. It was mine to lose.
And then you lose it.
Yeah, the guy's shed fell apart.
And that made his worse.
Yeah, because his shed fell apart.
Wow.
Spoiler alert, his shed fell apart.
So if y'all want to watch that, that is season 2, correct, of the worst handyman in Canada. You can go look it up. There's several channels on YouTube that has the entire season.
Including
the worst. Your channel has the worst handyman in Canada? I don't think those came from I don't think this one came from your show though. I
don't get that ad revenue.
we'll go look at it. But if y'all actually want to watch, that doesn't count. Yes, it does count as Canadian programming. Rudix, it takes place in Toronto. Like there's a Toronto one, and then there was Divine Design with Candace Olsen, or not Candace Olsen. Divine Design with...
Never heard of that one.
It's Divine Design. It's a Canadian one too.
Never heard of it.
But so Jeff, like what came out of it? So you do the game show. So what thing comes out of this whole thing?
Remember, this was before the internet. Well, it aired in early 2007. So the Book of Faces did exist, but that was it. And Mike, if I drag my kids down here, they will tell you they hated it because I got recognized everywhere, and they absolutely hated it because we couldn't go anywhere when the show was on because people always, and there were places that I would go when I used to rock climb, And people would go, "Oh, you're the guy from the show," and they'd want an autograph or they'd want a picture, and they're like, "It's just the troll. What the hell?" And they just didn't get why people who didn't know me, or they would stop me on the street. I don't know if I have the picture anymore, but there was Rudiggs can tell you all about this. On the corner of Yonge and Bloor in Toronto, it is one of the no, it's Yonge and Dundas. Yonge and Dundas? Yonge and Dundas or Yonge and Bloor. It's one of the biggest intersections in Toronto. They had an advertisement for the show, and it was on the billboard. So we went down, me and the kids, and took some pictures with me and the billboard. And then people would go, "Hey, you're the guy on the billboard." So we drove down to Yonge and Dundas. This was before Rudiggs, before it was Yonge and Dundas Square. But yeah, so but I loved it. I loved every second of it. I knew the game, so I played the game. And then by the end, I kind of wore the director down, and he'd be like, "All right, if you guys all do that, that'll be good television." And I'd be like, "Dude, what the hell?"
Wow. And Rudiggs, there's a great Canadian house show there's many. When I watch HGTV, Rudiggs, there's many Canadian shows. It always shows like your little Canadian logo at the end of the show. That's how I know there's many shows in Canada.
Yes, it was before Dundas Square. Dundas Square did not exist back then. That was before Dundas Square. Fact check me. Rudiggs. Shout out to Rudiggs and the Rudiglets. Played Minecraft with them last night. A lot of fun.
Oh, you played with the triplets, all three of them?
The Rudiglets.
Wow.
That Rudiglets term, copyright certified doctor. Full disclosure. Certified doctor.
Certified doctor, one of the younger stadiums.
So yeah, so that was 2007 it aired. I had a great time. I would do it again, because when you get to make a fool of yourself on national television, who turns that down?
Not?
Who turns that down?
Who turns it? And Jeff, another thing about you is that and so thank you for telling us that, and thank you for letting us see your younger self, and also giving us kind of the background on reality TV and how you trolled the entire Canadian television audience. So that's actually pretty cool.
And got nothing for it. Got nothing for it.
So another big thing that people may not know about you is that you're actually a fairly serious gamer, and but no, you actually have, you and EA used to be pretty close, no?
I used to like EA. I was big in the Madden community back in the day.
Like, you were a ranked Madden player.
Back in the day.
Was this on PC or was this on console? Was this a competitive?
PlayStation.
PlayStation. So you're a ranked PlayStation Madden player. Yep. Were you a competitive Madden player, or was this just ranked?
No, because all the comp, they weren't online. They were always somewhere, and they were always in the US, and Canadians were never eligible.
Why weren't you eligible?
It was only for US players. It was only for US players.
Because EA did something
I guess if I wanted to schlep down to the US somewhere to do a tournament, but all the tournaments were in person back in the day, and I just never bothered to go down. So,
Severin, did you just say sports games make you want to go outside? That's actually kind of funny.
They do now. So yeah, so back in the where are we? We haven't even got to 2000. I guess 2000 in the teens, in the 20 teens. So your 12s, your 13s, your 14s. And when you say ranked, it wasn't ranking as it is today. They had online components, but it wasn't like it is now. Once it got to the PlayStation 3 and especially the PlayStation 4, they were able to do a lot more with it. But then they had no competition, and the game started going downhill. And then in 18, 19, 20, we just kind of all gave up.
So why did you give up on Madden? So this is like a point of discussion. We had Project Storm come on the channel.
I when it was free to play one weekend, I said I will come and play you, and I offered to play Ray, and I offered to play other people, and I offered to tell them the play I would use. I will say, I'm going to use this play through the entire game. I was going to tell them ahead of time what play I was going to use.
So you think so? Why do you think they didn't take you up on the offer?
Because they knew they couldn't stop me. It's a play you can't be stopped. It's a broken game. So why would they? Why would you do that? If I said I'm gonna want you to play my friend in chess. Oh, by the way, he's a grandmaster. Would you play him in chess when you knew he was gonna probably beat you in 6 moves?
Yeah, maybe take like 20 something. I don't think I would lose in 6 moves, but
Right? So, and again, Ray will call me a troll, but and I point out, I stopped doing it because they're, and I often said to all of them, if you find me a good play, send it to me. Find a good Madden play, and I will look at it. And they never have because they don't exist.
So there's a point. So for a lot of people, so Jeff used to be really big into EA, and now you don't even support. You don't even care for.
They're dead to me.
Madden or EA?
EA.
EA in general. So it takes two. You're not a fan.
I've asked this question. Find me a game that they make, not publish. Don't come at me with Star Wars because they didn't make Star Wars. They just published it. If you don't know the difference between making and publishing a game, that's a different show. Find me a game they make that isn't broken.
Oh. So you want a game EA developed, not a game that EA. So Hazelnut Studios, you're great with them, or Hazellight, whatever it's called.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, something that's made by an EA. Dice, Tiburon, any Montreal, Vancouver, any of those. See, Ray doesn't play with because Ray couldn't beat me because I know the plays that can't be stopped, and so he would either rage quit, call me a troll, or I would just run the score up, or I'd run the score up on him because I know the plays that are broken that can't be stopped. There are professional football players, and if you don't believe me, you can go and look at yesterday's tweet where professional football players are begging them to fix the broken game. These are professional football players who know how to play professional. So Obi Rose, when Battlefield 2042 came out, did it work? It did not. Even EA on their earnings call said, yeah, we fucked up. It was a broken game. We shouldn't have released it. We'll fix it. It might be tolerable now, but when it was released, it was garbage. Prove me wrong. And see, Ray's going to go and he's going to call me a troll. Again, I call out the truth. Find me a game that they make that is not broken. Oh, what did Xbox International say?
Nope, it didn't work. And
what did Paul say?
Cammy said it was broken. Paul, there you are. It was one of the most broken games ever. Ooh, that's a big.
Find me a game that they make that is not broken. So, why bother?
So, do you think EA? So, there's a question I have for you, Jeff. Do you think EA is any different from some other publisher developer type? Like, do you think?
Yes, because I think the other ones actually care. And do I think that they rush games out? Yes. Do I think that they rush them out, do a lot of day one patches? I think a lot of them. I think he's in. I think a lot. I can do this and watch those TVs at the same time. When people go, how do you watch all those 3-seat TVs? Oh, congratulations, Ray. You picked some better players that had a better week than me. Congratulations, Ray. How's your hockey? How's your fantasy hockey, Ray? I sent you a tweet today. Where's your fantasy hockey? Show me your team, Ray. So yes, I think a lot of the other companies do care. I don't think EA cares. EA cares about one thing and one thing only: how to monetize the game. So when people would say, "Oh, it's not on Stadia or it's not crossplay, it's not this," I go, "How does that make the money? Answer me that." And I said it's also not on Stadia because they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to put stuff in the cloud. Yes, I know you can argue there's some FIFA and stuff, but that's a different group.
SPG, what's going on? We were talking about you earlier.
Simply pwned.
Peppo,
My man played it once and didn't play it again.
Was this Battlefield 2042,
Yeah.
Cammy?
Yeah, probably. That would be my guess.
Yeah, I know. Jeff is going on his EA.
My Twitter is open.
Which y'all can go to link down below. I linked Jeff's Twitter, Jeff's Instagram,
Where the hell's my shirt?
Jeff's YouTube.
If you don't know, my Twitter's open. Find me a game that EA makes that's not broken. Up to I played an early release of 23. Oh my god, is that of hockey? Oh my god, is that garbage? Again, it's just copy and paste of all the other and I'm sure there are other companies that maybe don't care and they just want the money, but I think most of them do care and most of them want to put good product out.
Star Wars Fallen Order.
Who made Star Wars? Who made Fallen Order? Who made it? Crow. Where's Crow? Crow, who made Fallen Order?
Jedi Fallen Order.
Who made it? Oh, what did Severin say? What did I say? Games they made, not published. They didn't make it. They published it. EA
Justin,
did not make it.
He has Justin. He's a self-proclaimed troll, right? Or other proclaimed troll who has opinions.
Mine are fact.
He has facts that are based on opinions.
No, they're fact.
Titanfall 2.
My opinion that is fact.
Respawn Entertainment did Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Wait, I'm trying to find. Is there an E?
Oh, Jeff, what about this? Look who just came into chat.
I'll play him anytime, any place. I'll even tell him the fucking play I'm going to use. He cannot stop me. Day or night. Well, actually, I can't anymore. The game's not free, and I will not buy the game, nor will I take any free. You know how many free games I'm offered of Madden, and I turn down?
Jeff, what if we give you let's sponsor you. We'll give you. I know you don't need it. If we give you the game, will you play Project Storm in Madden 2023?
How are you acquiring the game?
How's who acquiring the game?
How are you acquiring the game?
Like, how am I buying the game?
You're going to buy the game? I refuse. You're not giving them a dime. I will not give them a dime, and I will play him anytime. And I will even tell him the play that I will use, and he won't stop me. You're missing the point. Don't buy anything from that company. I will not give them a penny.
I mean,
and you shouldn't. And if you buy a game, you're a sucker because they give so many copies away. No offense, Ray. Fact check me. How many times? I just think have I said tonight, Crow, fact check me. Go ahead. If I make a statement, go and fact check it.
Okay, so we're gonna have to see. So next time, if there's a free-to-play weekend for,
I'm sure there will be because the game is the football season's half over and the game still doesn't work.
So
Micah Parsons, #1 defensive player in the entire NFL, tweeted them last night going, "Can you fix the game?" He lost a game because the game is broken. He's a professional football player. Do you think he knows how to play football? I think so. Go look up his tweets from last night, and he's begging EA to fix the game.
So Xbox International just said Respawn parent company is EA, so it's a game that EA made.
One of their studios did not make it. Like I said, what did I say? Go back. DICE, Tiburon, Montreal, Vancouver, one of those did not make it. Yes, if they own thousands of companies and one of their side companies who actually know how to make games made the game, that doesn't count. I said, what did I say? Rewind. Go back. Clip it. Did I
This
not?
is a
What did
troll,
I say?
y'all. Jeff is a troll. He's holding true to his word. He is a troll, y'all. Respawn is theirs though. Y'all, this is not so Jeff, we got to your
Okay, so where are we? Where are we? 2010. No, where were we?
2010. Well,
Oh
we're
yeah.
kind of jumped
So I
everywhere.
gave up on Madden. Madden isn't even worth discussing anymore until there's and there's if we want to talk football.
What, like real football?
Oh no, I mean there's some really good football games. Axis football is really good. STG, what's it called, Ray? STG. STG's got one. There's one just called Football Simulator, which is really physics-based. It's really good. There are some good, if you like football games, you like simulation football, because Madden is shit, NFL has allowed other companies to make other games. And so there are some really good other games. Storm, have you played Axis football? Played Axis 23? Let's play Axis 23. I'm no good at it, but let's do that one.
If y'all did not know, Project Storm is the number one player. Storm, I believe you're still number one player in Madden 2023 on PC. So just throwing it up. Storm is that. So there is.
I guess Ray found the tweet from Micah.
Not now. Top 10 though. You're still top 10s though, Storm. So all right. So we're gonna have to set that up.
20 people playing it. Go on Twitch. Go on Twitch. I think you can look up how many people actually have been playing Madden since it was released compared to prior years. The numbers are way, guys like Perfect Stranger. Perfect Stranger hardly plays it anymore. Again, fact check me. I don't think last time I checked a few of his streams, he wasn't. So Perfect Chewbacca Llama, I don't think plays it anymore. I don't even think Eric Rayweather. How much is Eric Rayweather? I think he still puts out a few things. I'm just trying to think of some of the big streamers that used to stream it all the time. They do other things because they just can't, unless they're being paid.
So Chat, he's gotta keep to his guns. He's gotta keep to his guns.
Be good. Good at what? Making sure it's all animation based. Storm, you know that it's all animation based. You don't have to be good. It's whatever animation decides to fire. And did you watch the Pro Bowl that they did a couple of years ago? That was just Madden. What happened? The ball was in the end zone and nobody could touch it. Why? Because it's a broken game, and it happened like that. So it.
Oh my gosh! Well, we're gonna have to set this up, y'all. We're gonna have to, when we see that the game is free to play, we are going to have to set this up. Project Storm. We're gonna have to set it up eventually. Exactly, Paula. We're waiting for it. But Jeff.
Okay, where are we? So So then I've moved on. I moved on from Madden, and I now play a lot of other games.
You play a lot of other games.
And I am no good at any of them.
But you're still a gamer, Jeff. And
I learned something new about myself. I'm as bad with a sword and bow and arrow as I am with a gun.
How did you figure that one out?
Playing Chivalry 2 with my boys. Playing Chivalry 2 with my boys. I'm as bad with a sword as I am with a gun.
There could be worse problems.
That's why I don't like these. I'll play the PUBGs with the Rays and the SPGs, and I got lucky in one of those games and killed Doc. I don't know how I did it, but in one of those games I killed Doc. But yeah, it was all good.
So Jeff, so you're also, and I know we're coming down close to the end, but I do want to you're also a retro gamer, right? You have a channel, you have a show, retro game channel, and you play a lot of retro games.
Mhm.
You talk about retro games. You are kind of
Mhm.
a I don't know, a pool of a fountain of knowledge when it comes to retro gaming. Um, Question to you: when would you consider a game retro?
No, you don't ask me that. I ask guests that.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
we
I'm
ask
not good.
that question. Yes. What is
I
retro?
thought so.
What is
Okay,
what does retro mean to you?
so we can't ask you that. So that's cool. That's
Um,
cool.
the consensus is, for the most part, Ray, SPG, Miss Tracy, they'll, basically, if we had to average all the answers, basically when consoles started with HDMI, so anything prior to HDMI would be retro. But it's also a feeling. It also is nostalgia. There's a number of things.
So when do you think? Do you think?
David Wilson, retro to him is PlayStation 5. But
It's not that bad. But um, so going forward, like, right? Do you think this idea of retro gaming will still? Do you think today's games will one day be retro?
I do.
Like to cloud gaming? You think
I do.
because you think it's a feel? You think it's like maybe an aesthetic, a type of game?
Yeah,
Is
because there are kids playing on the Switch now that there will be. Now there's going to be a fight in the chat about whether Chivalry 2 is good or bad. You got Ray, Crow, and SPG on one side. You've got Paul, Severin, and some other people on the other side. And I have no opinion because I have no opinion on it. I will still play it, but Crow and Ray and SPG will not. Paul and David Wilson and Callie Vet they'll still play it. What was your question?
no, just was asking you
Oh,
about
yeah,
retro
yeah. So
gaming
there
and
are kids now. I'm thinking of Primo's kids. I don't know how old they are, but they're like under 10, between 5 and something. I don't know how old
something
Primo,
like that.
something like that. I don't know, something like that. So that fast forward to them 20 years from now, they'll think back. They'll think back to when they were younger playing on the Switch, and that'll be retro to them, right? So when they're in their 20s or something, um, you know,
No, that's fair, Jeff.
right? So
You know,
it's just going to keep moving.
it's just gonna keep moving.
it's
No,
gonna
I think
it's gonna keep moving forward, right? So the Switch will probably it'll probably change. Nintendo will come up with some new thing in 10 years or 15 years,
2024.
and whatever. They're going to have some new thing, and then the Switch will no longer cease, or maybe it's going to be Switch 5 by then, version 5 or something, and then they'll be in their 20s, and they'll be just going. I remember I used to play on the first gen of Switches. It wasn't even back in the day. You know, so and then they'll sit back and they go, yeah, I remember I used to play. I used to have to hold this thing in my hand. They called it a controller. That's what we used to call it. And then she'd be talking to her children, going, "You don't understand. You guys just play with your brain now. But I used to have to use my hands, and I used to have to hold this thing in my hand. You just don't get." Kind of like they used to have wires, right? We'd have wires attached to.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. No, I agree. I think there's always games always
What
gonna
does
be
Severin
moving
say?
forward.
Retro is another word for nostalgia, as I understand it.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Because a lot of people that's their earliest memories of doing stuff, playing a game with their brothers or their uncles or their parents or whatnot, or their parents having a and can we just agree that it's SNES, it's not a SNES? Can we just agree finally once and for all?
I try, but we have people like Paul and
They're
Holtz
wrong,
who call
but
it
they're wrong,
SNESs and NESs. I think
but they're wrong.
Rihanna called it a SNES as well, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know.
Because
That's what they, they
just because they call the shoe company that starts with A correct doesn't mean they're correct in that pronunciation. Do you know the shoe
yeah.
company that starts with A?
That's Adidas.
Adidas?
Adidas?
Adidas.
Adidas?
If you want, it's a German company that you call them, that's what they're going to say. Hello, Adidas. That's what they're going to say just because you
They
Americans
don't know
say it
what they're
wrong.
talking about, though.
Want to bet?
German.
Go ask Rock. Go ask Adam Stone. Go ask him. Next time, tomorrow, go ask him. Tomorrow
It
at
doesn't
noon,
matter.
go and
It
ask him.
doesn't matter. It
Anyway.
doesn't. They're all third world languages. If you're not there's only two languages: American and everything else.
Of course.
I'm joking. Somebody speaks Spanish. My mom is gonna probably get on this phone pretty soon. I can't, y'all. I'm joking.
Evan, when am I not correct?
Oh my gosh.
Go back to this episode and you clip something when I'm actually not correct, please. That's my challenge to all of you. You go back in this episode, you find out when I said something that was not correct.
Yeah.
I'll wait. I got all night.
But with that, Jeff, you have such. I wanted to bring you on so bad just because you have such.
And remember, I do a little something everywhere. Did you link my TikTok in the description?
Yeah. So y'all, no. Jeff is actually. I think it's in there.
Okay. I didn't look.
I think I looked. I tried finding 4 or 5 year links. So y'all, Jeff is actually everywhere. He's on TikTok. He's on Instagram. He's on Twitter. He's on YouTube. He's on Canada broadcasting shows. He's on OnlyFans. He's on Twitch. He is everywhere. He is like the original king of content.
Vine.
Be real. He's Vine. He's there.
I miss Vine. Oh, Vine was so awesome.
But Jeff, where can
you don't know what Vine is, folks? Go back and look in your history books and learn up about Vine.
About the Vine. So Jeff, where can people find you?
Where can they find me? Everywhere. I'm still waiting.
At Jeff Gignac.
Don't forget. Do you have the OnlyFans link in there?
We're gonna have to get
hashtag Purple Haze for 50% off today only.
Hashtag Purple Haze 50% off
on my on the OnlyFans. And and see, I make content everywhere. So I don't know how some clowns say they're the king of content when like, oh, do you do it on here? Well, no. Oh, do you do it on there? Well, no. I just make YouTube videos.
I do not have I do not have an OnlyFans. Stop that.
I have the OnlyFans. Severin.
He has the OnlyFans. Jeff has the.
Yes, it's her discount code to my OnlyFans gets you 50% off. Here's a fun fact, folks. When I came backstage before I had just walked in the door, I'm literally still eating. You saw me munching. I was literally still eating. I had different clothes on because I was visiting my dad, and I had to change into this. I turned away because I'm not giving it away for free, folks. If she wants it, she's got to subscribe too. I just don't give, even David Wilson, I offered him a 50% discount. I could have given it to him for free. I chose not to. So.
Yes, exactly, Severin. Not my mom, her sister, Severin. That's who would do it. My aunt. It's always the aunt. But with that said, Jeff,
Ron comes from my OnlyFans. Ron, big shout out to Ray. Ray is a big supporter and tipper. Shout out to Paul, another big supporter on my OnlyFans. I'd like to shout out all my supporters on OnlyFans.
Oh my gosh, okay, give me a shout.
Torres.
Chris Torres, what's up? Well, Jeff, thank you so much for joining this show, y'all. If y'all have not seen, we have. Okay, here he goes, doing the lo-fi monk impersonation with Squid's glasses. Y'all, this is Jeff Gignac, self-proclaimed troll. Content everywhere.
No, that's Ray's term.
Self-promoter, extraordinaire, just everything. Jeff, thank you so much.
You say that like it's a bad thing. Ray.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jeff, for coming on. And for everybody else, next week, I am going to have a special guest from outside the community. You'll find out who it is. Yeah, but you'll know
our community has been blown up. We do not have a community.
No, it's it's outside, but you'll see. I'll say one thing. It's a woman. It's a very accomplished woman in the gaming world, and the show will probably be an hour earlier than normal. So just be
Does she have a
cognizant
job
of
where
that.
she works at a company that rhymes with Google?
No. Okay. So with that said, we are going to everyone, thank you again. This
The
is
after show will be on my OnlyFans. Purple
there's no
Haze,
after
if you
show
want a
with me.
discount. The
This
after
is
show will
Purple
be on
Haze.
the OnlyFans. Make sure you're there.
This is Purple Haze. The proof is in the plane. And once again, I don't care where you game, how long you game, what you game. As long as you're gaming, you're good with me. All right. With that said, thank you, everybody. And we'll see you next time.